It's not an easy task securing an admission in your dream university, and the biggest challenge that comes into my mind is especially if that university is international or abroad. In this video, I'm going to go over some mistakes that I made when I moved from India all the way to the United States, and hopefully this video will help you guys not make those same mistakes and things to watch out for. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. When we talk to a lot of people, just family, friends, we hear about everyone's personal experiences, how it was for them abroad, and it's all just word of mouth. And to be honest, everyone's personal experience is different. A struggle that someone faced might not be the same thing for you. So I put a list of the top 5 things to watch out for before you consider studying abroad and how you can avoid making these mistakes. The first one is not doing enough research. I've seen so many students make this mistake. Something that looks good on paper or on a website may not really be a practical approach, and this is why. Now let's talk about the type of course that you want to choose. If you're in high school or if you've completed your undergrad, whatever next degree you're applying for, be very sure that that's what you want to do, because the decision to actually study a particular degree should really come from passion, motivation, and inspiration rather than external factors such as money, because it's a 4-year or a 2-year or again 5-year degree in the case of a PhD. There's so much time that you're going to be spending on studying and preparing and perfecting those skill sets. Money as a factor to motivate you is just not going to be enough. So make sure you do enough research to know what you really want to do. The other thing that I want to point out here is that if you've done your undergrad in, say, genetics engineering, you don't necessarily have to do the same master's. It's okay for you to choose a different stream of master's. It may be biomedical engineering or computer science. That's not something that's out of ordinary, as long as you can convince the reader through your personal statement why you're choosing to decide that route and how you'll connect your prior learnings from an undergrad degree or something that you learned in high school into the next degree. That is what makes you unique and different, and basically that's what's going to help you stand out. In my case, when I was applying for my master's at Cornell, I had done my biomedical engineering for my undergrad, and the way that I looked around my master's, even though the degree was biomedical, was I wanted to apply microfluidics and the whole concept of entrepreneurship into the field of biomedical engineering. So even though my master's was focused in that area, I was very clear with what I wanted to achieve through that master's degree. Having that sense of clarity in your personal statement gives the reader confidence in you that you know what you want to do as a career and down the line, and that's what impresses a lot of the admission council. The other thing that I want to mention here is once you've done enough research to know what degree you want to pursue abroad, work, and just work hard on perfecting and showing the reader that you've gone out of your way to prove to them that you're actually interested in this degree. Do volunteering work, do internships, do stuff that's just not required of you from your school. This shows that you're proactive and you're genuinely interested in pursuing that field of interest as a career. The next mistake is not looking for financial aid or scholarships. I've seen so many students do this. As soon as they get a degree, things just move along so fast because it's just a matter of a couple months or maybe even a couple weeks that you need to say yes or no to an offer that a college potentially provided you. That doesn't give you enough time to wrap your head around the fact that you may qualify for financial aid or you should even apply. Things are moving so fast, you're just so happy that you actually got admitted and you just want to say yes. Just take a moment to step back, think about it. A simple Google search of your qualifications and the country you're applying to, followed by financial aid or scholarships, will give you so many different types of options which you may be eligible for. So please don't forget to actually apply and look for scholarships before you actually commit to going to a certain university for your degree. In most cases, financial aid just may be as simple as writing an additional essay as part of your application process, which you actually submit to the university. So if that's something that's available to you, look into the fine details and don't forget to fill that out. I mean, it's just a matter of an essay, you're already writing one, and you stand a good chance to cut your tuition or get some funding, which will really help you in the long run. The next one, and this is my favorite because I messed up on this so much, is not budgeting enough. When I came to the US, I would buy food, raw materials from Target or Walmart to cook at home, and it was basically I was a new learner in cooking and everything kitchen wise. So I'd mess up, the food would be horrible. I would have spent like $100 on groceries. The food wouldn't turn out great, and then I would just end up going outside and buying food from a restaurant. I was spending way too much money on food, and that's just how it worked out for me. The whole story here is make sure that you budget properly. There are a ton of apps out there, and even if you don't want to use an app, just have a rough idea in your head as to how much you want to spend per month on things like groceries, for fun, transportation, and other expenses. Just genuine expenses so you can keep a track of how much you're spending, and if you're spending a lot a certain month, you can always cut back on things that you don't really need, and that's how you save as a student. I mean, frankly, student life is just all about saving and, being cheap. That's just the way it is, and nobody is going to blame you or look at you differently because you're paying all this money for tuition, you're not earning anything, so that's just absolutely fine to do. In this scenario, let's take the Scandinavian countries for example. They offer some of the lowest tuition rates in the entire world, and I've seen a couple of my friends say that I got into this university for free and this is just absolutely amazing. Something that they forget to consider is even if the university is offering you free tuition, what are the living expenses there like? What is the food there like? And how much is that going to cost you? Now, under budgeting, another thing that I would recommend, and this is something that I had a really tough time doing when I came to New York for my master's. When you're in a different country, I wasn't sitting in India, and you're applying for your master's, you get admitted. The next step is to find your housing. It can be a real pain to actually find housing when you're physically not there. You don't have the capabilities of actually going and viewing the house. You have to put a lot of trust in either a management or a landlord that's telling you that, hey, this house is in good shape. And it's just a really stressful task all over. So my recommendation here would be to start early. Keep exploring, keep finding things. Don't say yes to the first thing that you find. You may find something for a cheaper price. You may find something in a better location, in a better condition house-wise. So keep looking and just do that research. Point number 4 is taking your visa requirements for granted. Now I'm going to break this down into 2 parts. The first part of this section is make sure you check what kind of work rules are permitted in your visa for whatever country you're applying for after you finish graduation. It's really important that you understand the rules and regulations, what you can do, what you can't do. Can you work part-time as a student? Can you work on campus or off campus? Is there a certain number of hours per week that you can work? All of these rules are really important to understand because you're someone who's going to a brand new country, you're an immigrant, and you really don't want to get in trouble with the law. So make sure that you understand these things. The second point under the visa requirements that I see a lot of students take for granted is just not paying enough attention when you actually need to secure that visa. Say you get that offer letter from your dream university. You can't just sit back and expect the university to send you a visa. It's up to you to take an appointment with the embassy, find out where that embassy is. It may not be located in the city that you're currently in. You may need to travel. You need to check dates. There are so many requirements when it comes to visa things, especially because you are from another country. You may have to get some documents translated into English. What kind of requirements are they looking for? All of those things, embassy-wise, is really important for you to understand, and just make sure that you don't miss on any important deadlines, because that's not going to be an excuse for you to give the college, and they're just going to be like, well, you didn't do this, too bad, try again next year. They're probably just going to say that. So you really want to make sure that you don't take your visa rules for granted. The last mistake I see students doing, and I personally did this myself, was not connecting with the alumni network in your country or your city. Almost every college out there, especially some of the top universities that are present abroad, have alumni networks all over the world. There's a really good chance that the country you're living in, you can find this either through a Facebook page, Instagram groups. Well, Instagram doesn't have groups, but basically some groups, a Reddit group, Facebook page, or something like that. But basically the idea is to find an alumni network and start connecting with people who went to that same college. If you can find people who pursued that same degree, that would be the ideal scenario. Connect with them, talk to them, even if they aren't available for a phone call or a video chat, just connect with them on LinkedIn. Even if one person can tell you a challenge that he or she faced, that's one mistake that you can avoid right then and there. The other point here is connecting with students from the same university in your home country gives you a sense of a cultural connection. You can understand if there are cultural differences, if there were any difficulties that similar students faced in a different country, just apart from the studying aspect of it. Moving to a whole new country for another degree, it may sound like it might be an exciting thing to do, but there's a whole emotional and cultural difference that you're going into. It's a big factor, and you need to consider that you are taking a leap just out of your comfort zone, and you're going into something that you've never experienced before. So if you can talk to people and connect who've shared similar experiences, there's a lot that you may be able to learn from them. Alright, so that wraps up 5 points that I have, 5 mistakes that you want to avoid when considering an international degree abroad. I know that this video sounded like a mopey one and sounds very negative, but I just want to let you guys know that the fact that you guys get an admission into your dream university abroad is a huge deal, and you should absolutely be excited and happy about that. And my goal from this video wasn't to bring you guys down, rather I just wanted to share some experiences and some mistakes that I feel that you can avoid by just doing a little more research and being a little more prepared for what you're going to get into. The last thing that I want to mention before ending this video is rejection is something that you should learn how to deal with. Just because you don't get accepted into a dream university, that's okay. Things change. We just have to adapt to it. That's why we have safety schools. And the simple fact is, if you don't get accepted into the university you wanted to go to a certain year, you can always try again. So taking a gap year is not that big of a deal. Just make sure you're happy in whatever you're doing and you're working hard to perfect your skill set, and you're just giving it your best shot. That's the best that's the best that you can do, and I think that that's pretty much a great effort right over there. Alright, that's about it. I hope this video gave you a slight idea and made you a little more comfortable into your transition into a university abroad. And if you'd like to see more videos on college tips, click right over here. If not, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss notifications. I have a ton of videos that I'm gonna post almost every other day. So I hope you guys like this one, and drop a like, watch this playlist, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.